All right. Yay! Yeah, we were a little bit excited, so we decided to get on a few minutes early just to kind of send our energy into the Facebook and YouTube space, I guess. So we're just going to wait here a few minutes and see if anyone shows up live right at the beginning. I see that somebody is here, and of course, you're always welcome to greet us in the chat if you like. Let us know who's here, and we are just delighted to be here with each other. I'm just
Yes,
gonna hang on. Yeah, a couple more minutes here, or a minute or so more while people come on. I see there's another person, so feel free to make yourself known in the chat. At some point, of course, if you've got questions or comments and stuff, I always make sure that we're able to address those in these live streams. So,
actually, can we do a poll in the chat? Do you know about human design? Do you know about intentional creativity?
I don't know that we can do it doesn't look like I have the capability to do like an official poll, but I'd love to know, for those of you who are on, do you know about human design, and do you know about intentional creativity? How's that? That's a really good question. And let's see, who's here? Nabila's here. Hi, Nabila. Welcome. Yes. So let's see. Where are we? We're 2 minutes to the top of the hour here. So those of you who have joined us early, please feel free to post your comments. We put out a question to find out whether or not you know about human design, and if you know about intentional creativity. And here's the third curveball question. Do you know how the two relate? And that can be enough for a master's thesis, right, Kerry Lee?
Yes. An experience in itself.
Yeah. So the name of, or the title of our live stream tonight, Nabila knows from, yes, she knows from the two of us. So cool. Hey, glad to enlighten you. The title of our live stream tonight is called Out of the Mind and Into the Body. And I want to introduce Kerry Lee of kerryleeart.com. Kerry Lee is the alchemical artist, which it sounds just so magical to me, and your work really is magical, Kerry Lee. So I want to welcome you. And Kerry Lee's also the founder of the Self-Discovery Wisdom School, where I get to go and share human design. And as we're talking about human design and intentional creativity and how they can help you navigate your life authentically, we're going to be sharing a little bit of our experience about the fall semester of the Self-Discovery Wisdom School and all the exciting projects and really fun things that we did during that time. So Kerry Lee, do you want to open it up with how you explain what intentional creativity is?
Absolutely. So intentional creativity basically is the philosophy of infusing what we make with intention through mindfulness and embodiment. So there you go, the mind and the body, right? And this approach to making art can be applied to any medium and in any thematic topic. I like to say in any human condition, we can apply it. So in the case of the Self-Discovery Wisdom School, I call it your creative journey to clarity, confidence, and freedom. So it's like about getting personal insights using intentional creativity. So think about the last time you were presented food. Remember when we used to go to restaurants? Think about the last time you were presented food and a beautifully plated dish of food versus one that had, say, smears on it and had disorder, right? It's a very different experience than one that's curated with love. So that would be an intentionally creative plate of food that was given to you. And of course, it's not a mystery that human beings, by and large, prefer something that's curated with mindfulness from the maker. And so everything we make and we bring into form has this level of intention. It's basically art with purpose. And for my own purposes with art, I use intentional creativity to help release blocks. I'm known for having a 35-year case of creative constipation, which is kind of crude, but I literally could not create unless I was in a classroom setting. And I needed that container to create within. I'd gotten messages growing up and different things that just really stopped my creativity. One being told I couldn't make a living as being an artist. Until I finally called BS on that one. But
Mhm.
it also can help to heal life's wounds. So we all have stuff that happens to us and we hold it in our body. And through the process, we can get it out of our body and onto paper or to canvas. It can go live there. And then once those blocks are gone and the wounds are out, then we've got this space to get clarity and vision for what we want for our future instead. And one of the great things about intentional creativity is you don't need to have art experience and no mistakes can be made. So um, if you are a creative and an artist already, you can take off with the creativity. And you'll see that as we show some of the projects. Some of them are more basic and some of them are much more embellished. And they're all fine. It's whatever suits you and your style. But zero art experience is needed. And this seemingly magical method is for everybody. So that's the alchemical part of it, right? The transformative part of it.
Oh yeah, you know, I knew about intentional creativity prior to meeting you, and it was appealed to me so much because it's such an internal to external process, and in the doing of that, beautiful things are made because they're like an expression of who we are. You know,
Yes.
they're an expression of colors and hues, and I don't know, our inner landscape out on canvas or out on paper, that maybe we didn't even know was in there. And I know we've talked a lot about, especially with the process of going through the self-discovery wisdom school, or you know, that semester, or the fall semester, about how people in the process, um, and those of us, I was in the part of that process too with you, you know, creating my own project, which was my own human design project. This was so brilliant. Anyway, the creative process itself, or the creative expression, can open us up to parts of ourselves that we didn't even know were there, that we didn't even know was in there, and it's just so magical.
It is
Um,
magic.
yeah, yeah.
And what happens is that you get out of the thinking brain, right? When you start to allow yourself just to create, to watch the color move on the paper or the paint to move in the water or whatever it is, it becomes kind of meditative in a sense because it's just fun. And then you forget to like think everything through and get critical of your work. And when you're allowing yourself to be in that space, that sort of theta space, then that's where the wisdom that you already have built in you, but we often squish it down, it starts to bubble up and you start to have your ahas and your ideas, and innovation even starts to happen, all kinds of things. So it can be affirming as well as innovating in terms of just whatever we're working on. And it's fun. And it's fun. And
Mhm.
really, when I love it when somebody says, oh, I made a mistake. And I'm like, let's just keep going with whatever that mistake is and see what it turns into. Because whatever it turns into, there's usually a message in that or a meaning in that. I'm very much into symbolism. So it's,
Mhm.
yeah, you get out, you definitely, that's what the case of the get out of the mind, right? Get into the body, and just even deeper than that, as deep as it can go, right? Just get into the flow of creation. Create.
Yeah. Yeah, and into the fun of it as well. You
Yes.
know, and one of the things I noticed, like with all of your projects, ones in the self-discovery wisdom school, and even some of the others that I've done and I watched you do, you know, you have a way of getting people into a group, and the project almost becomes secondary to the I don't know, the connection, the
Yes.
whatever it is that you're guiding people to bring out of themselves,
Yeah.
becomes like this conduit between what's in the soul, what's in the spirit, and other people that are creating along with you or with me when I've been in those groups, and you know what's out here in the world. So it's really cool. It's really powerful.
It is powerful. And I encourage everyone just to like not worry about creating a piece of art that they're going to frame. That is just not the point of this. The point of this is the information that comes through, or the information that you've received through some of the discovery processes that we go through, that you get to integrate further in your being, right, into your everyday existence by doing the creative process. It's this whole circular energetic thing of taking in the information and embedding it in ourselves, integrating it, as well as having the ahas that come out.
Very cool. Wendy Ellen says, I absolutely know I have mega expressions inside waiting to come out. So, so yes, we all do. I love it. I love that you can recognize that. You know, what I want people to kind of understand. I know Wendy Ellen's about to give birth to creative expressions here. She says she hasn't painted for a year and almost has a space ready now since she's moved to start creating again. And she loves that flow and meditative state
Yeah.
that you get in when you're creating. And you know what I want you to tell, and I know this is bordering on the crude again, but I want you to tell that story about how the creative constipation, how you got over it, all that stuff, and how you knew you were on the right track, how
Okay.
you knew you were opening up
You
to
got
this expression, because
it.
I think it will help to illuminate some things for people who maybe have forgotten how powerful their creative spirit is.
Yeah. So Wendy, I get your comment about the mega expressions inside waiting to come out. I say I was ready to implode with the creativity that needed to come out of me. And I had other ways of doing it. I had a coffee house, and I had musicians come in, and I had artists put their art on the walls. Did I put art on the walls? Once a year, right? So I just kept having the need to do it and trying to express it, but not through my own personal expression. I was more like leaning on other people and their creative expression. Well, my life imploded, basically, is what happened. 12 years ago, I got divorced. I lost the business. I lost everything financially except for $1,000. Okay, middle-aged, right? And that's where I'm at. And it was at that point I was like, okay, if this is how life is going to be for me, I'm going to reclaim that inner artist, whoever she is. I didn't know who she is or what she had to say, or if I could even do it. I just knew I had to do it. And at that point, I decided I probably have to work forever. I don't know. And if I do, I'm going to follow joy and gratitude, and that's going to guide my way. And I'm going to claim my artist and just see where it takes me. And it took a few years for me to sort of right myself financially, a regular corporate job kind of thing. But literally on January 1st of 2013, I went in my backyard and I said, universe, I'm ready for my path. And down it comes. And what happened was 6 weeks later, February 13th, I will not forget the date, my intuition, that inner voice, was screaming at me to go to this event, a self-love event. And I'm single, and it was single at the time. And I'm like, my self-love's good. I don't need to go to this event, and I don't want to drive, and it's a work night, and yada, yada, yada. It was so loud. There's live music. I'm having this conversation within my head, right? And I went, and at this event, I met a woman named Shallow Sophia McLeod, who invented this, or co-created this method called intentional creativity. And I knew that moment that she had created the container that I wanted to be in to do what I wanted to do and go where I wanted to go. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. She had created this method that I completely resonated with. So I immediately signed up for her year-long training, immediately. And all I can say is just the magic kept unfolding that showed me that I was amazing, seemingly magical things happened, including travel and including, remember, I'm the creatively constipated artist at this point. And there's a company named Golden Paints, and Golden Paints are the finest acrylic paints, and they have other paints that there are. I applied to a program that they have called the Golden Artist Educators Program. And it's for teaching artists to use their product and to let the people who are in their classes, their workshops, use it. And I applied thinking they're never going to pick me. Well, guess what? They did. And when this really top of the line paint company chose me as one of their artists, I was like, well, maybe I am an artist. If they think I'm an artist, maybe I am an artist. But then what really happened is, I guess about 3 years ago now, my sister and my brother-in-law live in the family home that I grew up in. And he was up in the attic digging around, which was supposed to be empty. My parents lived there, supposed to be empty. And he found a painting under some layers of dust and insulation or whatever it was under. And he dusts it off, and it's in near pristine condition. And he says, this looks like one of Kerry Lee's paintings. And they gave it to me for a birthday gift, and my mind was blown because this was a painting that I did when I was 13 years old, about the time this creative constipation set in. And I have the painting so I can show you what it looks. Actually, Sandy, will you show what the painting? Okay.
I'm gonna try to
So I'll
share
talk
the
while
page
you're
here.
looking. So one of the styles of intentional creativity I do is I call them inner guide portraits, and they're symbolic portraits of our own personal stories. And so Sandy's looking up a bunch of paintings that I've done that are all of my stories, and you'll see the style. They're very distinct. You might even have seen them elsewhere.
I'm looking for them. I know they're here.
I think you opened the page that they were on in your browser.
Yes, here they are. Well, no, what happened to them? Here they are. Okay. And of course, the computer slows down. Okay, here they are.
Well, basically, like I said, they're symbolic paintings. They're self-portraits. They don't look like me at all, really, and they all turn out completely different. They're very intuitively painted. This process was the process that released that creative constipation, because I was photographing the one that you can see the most of. She's got the starburst above her head, and she's sort of under this archway. That one's called She Releases Her Artist Soul. And she is the moment that this creative constipation broke, because I was photographing every single step of the process. I was learning it. There was a point where I forgot. My brain left, and I forgot to keep photographing. And when I went back and I went through the pictures, I realized there was this whole bunch of steps that was gone. But what it did is it broke me through. It's paint. You can paint on top of paint. It's not like that big of a deal. You know what I mean? But that was the painting, my very first one. And I love her because she's so imperfect. She's got like a skinny neck and a crooked face. And I was getting kind of critical, and I wanted to fix her. And I'm so glad I didn't now, because that's, look how shy she is almost, right? That was my breakthrough painting. And then as I went on, just those top three that you've got there are perfect. The middle one is called She Moves with Knowing Love. And this is just moving forward in my life path, knowing literally with love for myself and the word out there that it's all going to be taken care of. I just stay in that flow with the fire in my heart, which is on her neck. And there's like botanical things in her hair. That's just to represent travel. There's the fog of the mystery above her head, because, where are we going? I don't really know. And then she's got this thing coming out of her eye, right? That's just, again, the creative spirit. So that's her. And then the one on the other side, she is called, oh my gosh, She Follows Her Own Stars. And that's about me following my own North Star instead of what everybody else thinks I should do, which is what I did my whole life. I was the people pleaser, right? And I did the career that others thought I did. I made all these decisions till it was just me. And then I decided to follow my own stars. And you can see the difference, the progression, especially that third one from that first one. I mean, those are two completely different energies, right? And that's how I was. Like, I really literally stepped into my own shoes at that third one. So again, I'm going back to the story of the attic and the painting when I was 13. These were after these were painted, and I'll show you why he recognized it. So this is the painting. You can guide me if you can't see it.
Right there. Up a little higher.
Up a little higher.
Right there, okay. Right there. Bring it down.
Okay, so here she is, and you'll see that she's got cosmos in the sky, like some of my paintings do. She has also interesting textures and whatever in her hair. There's an underpainting, which I don't know if you can see it. These paintings are there's many, many layers. There's stairs and a doorway in the underpainting of this painting. She has red thread in her hair. In my intentional creativity workshops and in the intentional creativity community, we have a red thread ceremony. And there's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, everyone who's destined to meet is connected by an invisible red thread. And that thread may stretch or tangle, but it will never break. And here it is. She's got red thread all over her hair. I don't know what was that. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just painting, right? She also has this pink streak in her hair. Now, I painted this in the 70s. No one had put pink in their hair in the 70s. When this painting was found, I had the exact same color of streak in my hair when this was found, right? So there's all these weird, strange, wonderful things. But here's the big one. She has no eyes. You see that? She has no eyes. She was stuck in my attic and couldn't see her way out until she was found. Gee, is that like symbolic or what? Do you know what I mean? That was literally, so this is the painting that foretold my future. And when this was found and everybody in my family knew the story, they were like, what? And me too. And I was like, okay, I'm on the right path. I don't know where I'm going, but that's got to be a sign. You know, that's got to be a great synchronistic sign of wherever I'm going, keep going. And that's kind of how it's been. It's just wherever I'm going, keep going, because I keep getting these signs and symbols and signals.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Jennifer says, I'm trying to tap into my divine feminine creative side. So I hope that your journey, your explanation of your journey is an inspiration to you, Jennifer. That Kerry Lee's explanation is an inspiration to you, Jennifer, because I see that as like you going back and finding your divine feminine creative side.
Yes.
That was coming to the forefront when you were 13, and then it got cut off. You forgot.
Yes.
And it's just incredible to see that picture, that painting that you did when you were 13 against all of these other paintings from the future.
Yeah. And I do not remember painting that painting. I mean, it's very obviously mine. There's actually was a sketch. I don't have it with me, but there was a sketch that was with it. And it's sort of like my little prototype. And I did sign that one. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I know I signed it because I was painting on everything, including my dad's car. But yeah, I was a little bit wild with my creative pursuits back then. Yay, you know? Yeah.
So just to catch up here, Wendy Ellen saying that she loves the golden paints.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are great. And Susan says your paintings are fabulous. Wendy Ellen says, I've seen your paintings on Facebook and online, and she loves them. Yeah, and Jennifer says she's perfect to the painting that you showed. And Wendy Ellen loves the textures and the layers, and she was just kind of blown away by the crazy synchronicities. Yeah. And Jennifer says, yes, absolutely. She resonates with the finding your divine feminine. So it's so cool. So cool.
Yeah, the synchronicities are so fun, right? So now I'm always on a hunt for them. I don't even need to be on a hunt. It just happens, just the awareness, and it just happens. So
yeah. That I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but that brings me to the idea or the thought of what's after what's after that semester that we did with the Self-Discovery Wisdom School, and how we're going to be exploring synchronicities in the living lab. So I know I've jumped ahead, so I've got to go back and fill in the pieces, but I feel like that first layer, and I really want to share what went on there, because it wasn't just human design. And for those of you who aren't familiar with human design, I know you've got some of your people watching who are really into the intentional creativity aspect, and then there are others here who follow me for the human design. So just want to get everyone on the same page. Human design is a synthesis of several ancient wisdom systems that shows you how you're created and hardwired to live your life. How you're hardwired to operate in this life, so that you can bring through your true soul essence, your divine feminine essence, all of that stuff that is inside of you in the most aligned and vibrant way. So anyway, so that's part of the self-discovery wisdom school. And then there are a couple of other people who come in and they do their magic as well. And then Kerry Lee would take the things that we would introduce the students to so that they could dig deep into themselves, and then she'd help them bring out the essence of it into an art project. And it was just so cool. But what got me jumping ahead to the next level that's getting ready to start right around the time that this new semester is starting, or right around anyway, is that the students actually didn't want to leave. So they wanted to continue to be in community, and the topic, at least this time around, I'm sure it will change every single time, is synchronicity.
Yeah.
So I think that's just so fabulous that we're talking about synchronicity, and you're sharing all of these synchronicities, because really what you're doing is opening people up, you opened all the students up to themselves and the flow. And when you flow your divine essence through you, I mean, that is the fuel of synchronicity right there.
Yeah. So you need like an awareness and a desire for something that's not happening, right? You need that. And then you have to be willing to be open to something you don't know, to something new, to some other possibility, because something's not working if they have this awareness for something you desire, right? And then we dive in and we have these self-discovery methods, and then we create. And I'm calling the living lab, is what we're calling it, because it's really a living experience, the next level, because it's going to take all these insights that everybody's discovered, personal insights, they're completely different for each person, and they're going to take them deeper and wider by looking for the synchronicities and how they show up in other ways. And I'm just so excited about it. It's going to be pure fun. I just,
yeah, I am too.
We're going to create, and everybody shares with each other, which helps because each person's experience could bring an aha to somebody else. Do you know what I mean? So the sharing that goes on as we're going through our own living lab of life. I mean, that's really what it is.
Yeah, it is.
In a conscious way.
Yeah. Susan says the Self-Discovery Wisdom School was awesome, life-changing. Looking forward to continuing in the living lab.
Thank you, Susan.
Yes, I want to grow more. Awesome. I want to share some of these projects because they were incredible. So let me see if I can share the screen again, because I want you guys to see what everybody did. It was just so amazing.
And while you're looking, I'm a storyteller, so I'm going to tell you a little bit more.
Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, I only did in-person workshops and corporate team building and professional development with school teachers and one-on-one coaching and that kind of thing. I had meant to go online because people were asking for this work, but the gallery page is what you need.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw that.
I had been meant to go online, but for whatever reason, my own blocks, my whatever, I had not taken online yet. Well, I was kind of forced to with the pandemic, right? Because all the in-person stuff went away. And beautiful synchronicities, all these methods came into place at the perfect timing. And I realized I had this beautifully comprehensive program, which I'll explain to you as we go through these, that I could do virtually. So now anybody can show up for it. So like I said, I will show you. So let's start with, let's start with that one.
Well, I just scrolled down to Liesel's work here. And you want to talk about this?
I will talk about this. So this is about learning. I won't make it really elaborate. You can go to my website if you want to see these. But basically what the strengths and talent is, this is a science-based methodology of learning what your innate strengths and talents are. And it's not, am I a good cook? Am I a good artist? Am I a good dancer? That's not the kind of strengths and talents that we're talking about. We're talking about the things that you do that give you energy when you do them, right? They're just like so easy and fun. They give you energy. And so guess what? When they give you energy and it's fun, you do it more. And when you do it more and over and over and over again, you have the opportunity to become a master in whatever that strength and talent is. And so they go in and they learn about, they have 34 different strengths and talents, but we really focus on the top 5 and how they integrate into life. So these symbolic drawings are representing in terms of what those top 5 are, the out breath in terms of what they have to give the world or others, the in breath on what they need to receive to support those talents. There's some action steps that they can take to keep magnifying and growing their innate strengths. There's theme talents, like there's a core talent that runs through everything you do. Mine is positivity. I am one of, or it's connectedness actually, but positively runs strong right with it. So I naturally see the connections in things that people don't necessarily see obviously. And that's why I've been able to thread this together, because I could see how these different methods kind of overlap, you know, like a relay race, like you're handing off a baton, and just enough so that they link, but there's all this individual information. So the strengths and the talents is really what you have to offer the world. So that's, let's just say, from your body out, but of course it nourishes you, because if you're having fun and you're doing what you're naturally good at, it's going to nourish you as well. But that's really what you sort of have to put out in the world. So that's that one.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Awesome. Let's go to you next. Let's go to design next.
Close your eyes while I scroll, everyone.
These are the projects that we worked on. So you're getting a little.
I love the human design altar, and I love how you actually describe it. You know, with the chakra system, the Kabbalah tree of life, quantum physics, all that, and the a step-by-step journey toward understanding each person's uniqueness, including your energy type, body, mind, relationship. Let me just show you the pictures, because I think these are great.
Actually, why don't you explain these?
Oh gosh. Yeah, well, we made it fun, you know, for those of you who are in the traditional human design community. These terms may not be familiar to you, but we made it kind of fun. There is a place on here where you have your energy type, pure generator, all of that. And then I'm going through and just looking at mine that's numbered. I don't know if we did it that way or not, but we talk about what being in the flow and what it feels like when you're in the flow for your energy type. And then you put on here, oh gosh, I have to show mine, but I'll show everyone else's, the strategy to unleash your superpowers. Well, first of all, what your energetic superpower is, your strategy for unleashing your superpowers, your decision-making process, your self-care strategies, and I'm turning mine around, and then questions for self-reflection.
Yes.
So
I think the decision-making process is huge, life-changing, huge. And I'll just talk about myself again. I'm an emotional manifesting generator. And what that means is I need to wait to respond. And and then I go through it's called an emotional cycle. And I was like, I'm not emotional. One of my strengths is I'm positive. I wear rose-colored glasses. But I do have an emotional cycle now that Sandy pointed that out to me. It's very nuanced. And so when I pay attention to that, I can notice from when I go from excited to maybe not so sure to evening out. And that's when it's a good time for me to make a decision. And this has been life-changing, because I have my corporate career was sales and marketing. And what is that? That's push, 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 right? I was always an educator, salesperson, like a teacher. I gave them what they wanted. I didn't push, but it still was a sales job, right? Now I don't do that. Now I get to just kind of wait to respond to what comes my way, those synchronicities, those signs. It's so much more fun, relaxing, and enjoyable of a way to experience life. And that's what this school is about, is like, how do you want to experience life? Don't we all want to have ease and fun and peace and the things that every human being wants, right? Anyhow, I just get so excited about this.
Well, I just want to share mine again, because I love how you made this so 3D. And I actually keep it over in my art corner. And coincidentally, my human design type is I'm a projector. So coincidentally, once a week, I watch my neighbor's 7-year-old, who's also a projector. So I've been able to use these words like, you know, to tell her what her energetic superpower is, and and to show her what the self-care strategies are for people like us, and all of that. And it's just been so fun and so 3D, and she'll pick it up and she'll play with it. And of course I have it as a reminder too. And I have these self-reflection questions on the back. It's so awesome. I love how you, I remember when we did them, it was like, we do what?
We pull on
It was
but
like
you all
magic.
Yeah, and so the idea is that it's an altar for yourself. You put your candle or what, and your rocks or your flowers or whatever, the tokens that are important to you there, because it's one of your self-care spots. So I
Yeah.
think we should all have altars for ourselves, and this is such a useful one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
one
go ahead.
person turns into a wall hanging. Like you don't, and so this is where
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You don't have to make just the altar. You can make it into a wall hanging if you want. I loved that. It was very
Yeah,
innovative.
let me show that again. And Jennifer once says, it sounds amazing. How do I learn more? And she says she's been wanting to do a reading with me for so long. Jennifer, actually, everybody who goes through the Self-Discovery Wisdom School actually gets a reading. Do you want to, while I'm sharing, do you want to tell Jennifer how she can learn more?
Yeah, so go to kerryleeart.com, and then you will see, it's written on my little picture there, and you'll see the Self-Discovery Wisdom School section, and you can read through it there. If it seems like there's all kinds of, on the homepage of my website, there's some videos and articles and other things you can read as well. And I am willing that if somebody's pretty interested and you want to talk more and think it through and see if it's the right time for you, I'm certainly willing to do a Zoom call and set that up and see. I'm very, very, very hands-on, and I'm on the journey with you the entire time. And I'm just going to segue a little bit more on this, Sandy, before you go into that one there, is that the way it works is we come together and we do a couple of projects that help you find your own inner compass on your own to begin with. You all have them. And we just need to recalibrate, right? And so one of them is a project called Touchstones, and that's about finding your 3 words that help you make decisions, so that when you have a decision to make, you can run it past these 3 words. There it is, that are your words. And also, once you're kind of in the flow of being able to make those decisions, they become very affirming, and that you learn that, oh yeah, I'm actually doing what is important to my current desires and values. So we do that. Then we do
Yeah.
another project called Soulful Wisdom Cards. And the Soulful Wisdom Cards are identifying your limiting beliefs and turning them into, doing the alchemy on them and turning them into positive affirmations. And then once a week, you pull a card and you go out in the world and you discover where the opposite of that limiting belief is actually the truth. So that's a little treasure hunt for yourself. So that's how we kind of start. Then we go into the strengths, and Liesel, who is the one who guides everyone in that, she comes in and talks to everybody about it. Then everybody goes off and has one-on-one individual private appointments with her to learn about their own strengths, 2 of them actually. And then they come back and we do the project in group. And then the next one comes in, which is Sandy. She comes in and presents what human design and what she's going to do. Everyone goes off and has their individual sessions, and then come back and we do a creative project. So that's the flow of the entire program. It's sort of in and out of getting individual information. I call them quests along with the group projects.
Yeah, and then there's the Mayan dream spell. That
Yes.
was like that wasn't the culminating project, but that was the third.
Yes. And so the way I see human design, so we've got the strengths that are out there. Human design is your vehicle, as Sandy says it. Are you built to be a tow truck or a race car driver? You need to know what kind of vehicle you were given and how it operates best. So that's really that inner part and the operating part of your body. And it's that definitely integrating the mind with the body and reading a lot through your body, like really listening to your body to get the answers and being taught how to do that. Then the Mayan dream spell is another ancient wisdom. And what this really helps you learn about, there's a ton that it helps you learn about. This is kind of like a journal page that you're seeing there. But the core learnings from this are, how do you know when you're in your own flow, when you're in your own light, when you're on your own best self, we'll call it. There's certain thoughts and characteristics and behaviors that you have, which get identified so that you can recognize, oh, I'm actually, no wonder I feel great. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like for who I am. And then it tells you when you're in your shadow behaviors, again, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, behaviors, and when you're out of your flow, life is harder, right? But the great thing is you also learned how to course correct and how to get back into your own flow. For me personally, because my energy gets high, as you can probably tell, and I'm an artist, bing, zing, zing, zing. It's a conscious breath. Slow down, take a conscious breath and get recentered. And that's all I have to do to get back in my own flow. How easy is that? For years, I knew I was out and I knew I was in, and I had no clue like how to go between the two. So that's what you learn in a nutshell with that. Plus you learn about 10 super important relationships in your life and what the karmic connection is with those relationships, because that's your sort of your circle that moves around you, your ecosystem. So you really get this holistic view of yourself and how life can work best for you. So what we created here, we call them starseed shooting stars, because we all are that. We are all our own shooting stars, and each one is everyone's own creation, their own touch, their own style. I love how they turned out so different, yet they're all like these shooting stars, and they all have completely individual information. Mine's hanging in my bathroom, so I see it all the time, and I choose a little corner of it to pay attention to. And by paying attention to all these creations in my daily life, I'm integrating it, and I don't have to remember anymore, right? It just becomes a part of my experience and who I am. And then let's just share one more. Let's share the mandala.
Oh, yes.
So we also make a personal symbol, like your unique personal symbol, and it's in the form of a mandala. We do not use compasses or rulers. It's very organic, just like we are, and very imperfect, just like we are. But each layer of the mandala represents a portion of what the self-discovery insights were. So I'll ask a question, and then they will decide a symbol that represents, or a mark or a line that represents that question, and it builds upon each other until they've created their own completely individual mandalas, and then you get to color them in, which just adds to it. And this was definitely one of those. One of the participants thought she made a mistake, but as she knew, she just was to go with it and keep working it. She repeated it, and she had an epiphany, and I don't remember what it was, but I loved it that here she's in one of the final 2 projects, and she's really, getting it, that, yeah, go with that mistake. That's actually lucky in this case, because it means you get to go further and deeper with it.
Mm-hmm.
Fun stuff.
Beautiful. Lots of fun.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
Jennifer, did I answer your question about how to find it? Yeah, go to my website is the place to start, at least.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, that's your wall hanging, Susan. That's awesome. That was really great.
Yeah.
I never thought to hang it.
Super creative, yeah.
Yeah, as Jennifer says, super cool. And I believe in synchronicities. That's why I'm here. Yes.
Isn't it true? And to be open to those, right? And aware, that's just, even that itself is just huge. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Where are we going from here? You told them.
Where are we going?
Oh my gosh. It was so much fun. Let's see.
I think,
where are we going from here?
I know, I'm trying to.
Go ahead.
What else do we want to talk about? Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, I had a question for you. And also, if you all have questions about, not just about the Self-Discovery Wisdom School, but if you've got questions about creativity and being in the body and how that relates to your human design or whatever, go ahead and put them in the chat. We're here for a little while longer. But I do have a question for you, Kerry Lee.
Okay.
How does intentional creativity get us into our bodies? I think you might have touched upon it earlier, but if you can just go back over that.
Yeah, and I saw somebody ask a question that was related to that. So we get quiet. We shut down all the senses, right? And so I do a guided visualization with everybody. We do a red thread ceremony first when everybody arrives in the group together, and that's what that is that's a simple sharing. I ask a question, everybody gets to share their answer, and that connects everyone. It creates a safe, sacred space. It's about creating this community and communication and connection. That's another symbol of the red thread. And then I do a guided visualization, which is based on whatever the topic is that we're working on. So that it really gets you into your body, and that's part of it, is just like quieting the mind down and feeling the breath. In case some people have probably done guided visualization, some haven't. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's a completely organic experience. Everybody experiences it different. However you experience it is perfect, but it works for everyone, because when we're able to quiet the brain and even all the things that, that are going around us, the noises that happen around us, you can just pretend that's a cloud going by and that kind of thing. Feeling the ground underneath you, like everyone right now. Notice your feet, right? Notice your feet, notice their temperature, notice the texture that you've got, if you've got shoes or socks on or whatever your feet are sitting on, just notice that. And then notice that there's the ground underneath you and the earth like supporting you. How often do we actually pay attention to that? But even just doing that little bit to notice your feet takes us to a different place. And then notice your breath, and notice the air coming out of your nose as you breathe. Don't change your breathing, just notice. And this is the beginning of how we get into our body so that we can close down that mind and we can open up the insight, the inspiration, the wisdom, the ahas, the integration, all those good things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yes.
the process, right? Just being in the creative process keeps you there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And exactly, I'm feeling like when you open is it the right side of your brain that's like the creative side?
So the
It really does get you into, like, as Jennifer was saying, like the divine, the feminine aspect,
yes,
the aspect of us that just sort of flows, that is in a way aligned with, or can be grounded more to the earth, more to our existence here as humans in the present moment. And
yes.
it's just so powerful. And
And it's very much
Jennifer
about
said,
receiving and nurturing, right? And I want to just make a point though, because typically there's mostly women in this, but this is not just for women. We all have masculine energy and we all have feminine energy, right? And balancing it is a great idea. So this is absolutely a way to balance, whether you're male or female. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Great.
Jennifer says, so it sounds like it's a combination, both incorporating human design and connecting with our divine feminine creative side to find our flow. Is that correct? I think in a certain it's a way to see it, for sure. I'm sure, I know that there's way more to it, because there are masculine aspects or aspects of your human design that can be perceived as more masculine. So, but it is a way of getting in and really getting into that stillness that really helps you to listen to your body
Yeah.
and the way that it's designed to operate. So I think that slowing the mind down, getting into the right side of the brain, getting into that flow is all part of that whole
Right. And
understanding of the flow.
yeah, we don't focus on the divine feminine. That's not something that we even talk about. It, I will say, naturally occurs, but what really naturally occurs is whatever each person needs, that's where they go and that's what they discover. This is because it's just so amazing, because it's so completely individual, the experience, but it's not, because it's the human experience, right? And that's what we have in common. So it's really wherever everybody's looking to go. And Jennifer, I so hear you. I felt like when I was in my corporate world, which did not fit, I felt like I had to literally put on a suit of armor every morning to go to work. And this suit of armor was created for a man. It was not created for me in my body. And I would come home and I would be like rubbed raw, right? Because I had to live in this very masculine energy industry and way of doing business. And it was very difficult. So, and it took me a few years, honestly, to unwind from that. And human design has just helped me step more into all of this. The Mayan dream spell has helped me step more into the flow, which is the feminine. But who doesn't want that? Everyone wants flow.
Yeah. Everyone wants flow, masculine or feminine flow, it doesn't matter. We just kind of perceive the flow as being more feminine, but being in the zone, I guess, would be the masculine perception of being in the flow. But yeah, in the moment where we can be just with ourselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Jennifer, I see you said you're 50. That's exactly when this all happened to me. This is when my life, quote, imploded, but it was for the best in the long run, quite honestly, because it gave me the opportunity. I just had to get to that, like, literal 2x4, get run over by a truck point in life. I'm hoping that other people don't have to do that. You don't have to get to that point, and you can course correct how you want, a little bit gentler with these processes. But
Yeah.
amazing things happen in a few years. It's just amazing what can happen.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes those changes and those alignments can happen in one one split second or a matter of days or weeks, just because you open up to a way of seeing and experiencing yourself that you had never had access to before, or that you shut down, like you shut down your creativity, Kerry Lee, and then when it opened up, it's like your whole world shifted.
It is. And I had no idea how I was going to get to where I wanted to go, right? I had no idea. I just knew I wanted it more than anything. Like, more than anything, I wanted to claim that inner artist and that creative that needed to express herself so I could die a happy old woman. You know what I mean? I just needed
Mhm.
to do that. And through the process, I would say I've become a self-discovery, not a self-help, that's different, a self-discovery journey. There's nothing wrong with who I was, right? There's nothing wrong with who any of us are, but we can choose to discover more about who we are. And so that's where I gathered all these bits and pieces. And sometimes it felt like such a long journey to go to wherever I didn't know where I was going. But now I really found, like, well, you know how we have these moments in life where you get to the top of what feels like a mountain and you're like, oh, I made it. Like, I made it to the top. And then you look out and there's a bunch more mountains up and down you got to go. And that's what I had to do. I had to go through this whole landscape of mountain range, right? Until now, with the self-discovery school, I'd picked up enough things along the way, enough of bits of medicine, we'll call it, since we're talking alchemy here, to put together a program where it all made sense and could be combined, so that not everyone has to have that same arduous journey. That's my hope. That's really what my hope is as people go through this program, is that you can just, we still have to have our own life experiences, right? But just to have some ease with it, a little bit more insight.
Mhm. Yeah, and I feel like going through a process, because it's kind of an intense process. I mean, it's fun intense, but you want to be open to yourself when you
Actually,
go
I'd
in
like
there.
to ask for some, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'd like to ask for some feedback. We've got a couple of people on the program. Did you find it intense? Because it's intense in terms of life changing, but the pace of it is not intense, because we meet every 2 weeks, and for half a day every 2 weeks. So I'm sorry, I totally cut you off, but I had to, because this is really what I think the experience is like. Imagine that you're a butterfly. All right, you're a butterfly and you're in your garden, and this garden has been your garden your entire life. You know the plants, the flowers, the fruits, everything that grows there. You know it, and you're this butterfly or dragonfly or whatever you are that lives a long time. But all of a sudden, through what these discoveries are that you've gotten, your garden changes color. You can see deeper into the flowers, right? You can see under the leaves. You can see these things that you've never even noticed before, and they were right there. And so it's this experience of being a light, colorful, joyful butterfly, and yet you're still, you're not digging in the dirt, right? You're not digging in the dirt and up the muck. We're just seeing different layers.
And you see, it's revealing different colors and
Yes.
different nuances.
Yes.
So I guess what I meant by intense is that it's in depth, but it is a gentle, lighthearted, enjoyable,
Yes.
in-depth self-exploration. But you still have to be open to it, really open to it.
There's no point in doing it if you're not open to it, and if you're not open to experimenting with it. I mean, you call it the human design experiment, which is life, right? You can't just learn this stuff, like book learn it. It's not going to work. You have to integrate it and go out and experiment with it in your own life, all of it, and play with it and see what happens.
And it is like a whole lifetime worth of uh, data is not the right word, but
insight is what I use.
insight
Yeah.
that just can continue to unfold and color itself for years and years to come. That's
Yeah.
how rich. That's how I see it. It's just that rich.
It is. It's a roadmap that you get once. I mean, you can keep going in depth further with it, but you get this basic learning that can be so life changing, and you can use it for the rest of your life. So that's what I loved when the participants in the fall program didn't want to leave, right? I was like, oh my gosh, they want to go further and deeper. This is just so beautiful, which you can. You can go further and deeper, but also you can take what you have and keep playing with it because it's this blueprint, is one of your words, Sandy. It's this blueprint. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nabila says it was a wonderful experience. You go deep, but it's not overwhelming. The couple of weeks in between give time to wake up and notice.
Nice.
And you wake up and notice to what you've learned. Yeah, that pace is really amazing because it really does with any of these systems that you're working with in your entire process, Kerry Lee. It really is important to have those spaces for integration, and I think you really did that well. You kept the flow with also the space that allowed people to kind of open up
Yeah.
into what they discovered. Um, I'm looking at the time, and we're coming up to the top of the hour here very shortly. And I put a link to your free gift. In it might not be. I don't know if you can see it right now because I don't know how the technology works, but I'll double check it. It should be in the description. If
Yeah.
it's not there right away, I'll make sure it gets in. To this free gift. So do you want to tell everyone what that gift is?
Yeah. So I call them inspiration flags, and the topic or the name of it is Find Your Magic, Meaning, and Inspiration. And it's 5 1-hour sessions, and there's different ways you can create them. I like to call it pantry art, where you can kind of use whatever you have on hand. So you're given options in terms of, do you want to use pencils or watercolors or collage, whatever's fun for you. You can do it in whatever way, but you'll get one question, one theme a day, and you'll create, they're kind of like prayer flags that you can hang up, and they're reminders, just like the rest of the work here. But this is sort of the small plate appetizer size bit of intentional creativity. So it's
There it
free.
is.
It's a gift, and it's on my website, and Sandy will put the link in. If you miss the link, you just go to, just search around on my website, but it's under intentional creativity on my website.
And I'll put it in the the comments here in case you want to go take a look at it. And I just put the first photo here of the on that page so that people can kind of get an idea of a creation there. So
Yeah,
very
and
cool.
I should put a picture of what they look like. That's not it, but that's okay. That's a really good idea.
Oh, that's not it.
No, that's not them. I don't have a picture there of what they are.
Oh,
I
okay.
will do that. And you'll get one prompt a day, and it's recorded so you can do it at your convenience. And it's about an hour. And that 1 hour is just good soul nurturing time of creativity and going within. So you'll see, you'll get a good taste of it. Light guided visualizations, not very deep ones, but light ones, just to kind of get you there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds in and of itself, that 5 days could be life changing and transformational. So thank you so much for offering that. Yeah, and I'll make sure that it is in the descriptions both on YouTube and Facebook, so that you can get to it, and that's available anytime. I think you said that, right?
At least for now. I don't know how long it will stay up there, but it's available. Go there and see. And if you know what, if you want it and it's not there, send me a message and I'll find it for you in case I change something up on my website. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And Jennifer says, does this work for any kind of artist, jewelry, writer, etc.?
What do you mean by this? Do you mean the project, like the 5-day project, or do you mean the self-discovery wisdom school, or give me a little bit of more what you mean? Or intentional creativity? I mean, intentional creativity can absolutely be any kind of artist. when I built my coffee house, I didn't know about intentional creativity, and we wrote intentions on the walls. When I wanted to get pregnant, I made a sculpture, a ceramic sculpture of a pregnant woman. Like, I mean, I've been doing this forever and I just didn't know it. Oh, the course. Yeah, anyone can do this. You don't even need to be an artist to do this. So
Yeah.
if it just appeals to you, like if that sounds fun to pick up a crayon, and some people come in petrified, quite honestly, they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't picked up anything forever. I walk you through it step by step. It's like creating a recipe, right? You got to gather the ingredients and then we walk through it step by step. And if you're an artist, then take it whatever direction you want. So, and we do have writing in it. And you can, if you do jewelry, I can see making some things 3D. Oh my gosh, how fun would that
Oh,
be?
yes, that would be awesome.
You get full creative license that like take it where you want. It's the content that's really important. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes, it works.
And you know, the other part of it is you don't really even need like fancy materials or anything like that. Like paper, I think paper, pen. Um, I had for my human design project, I actually just had some acrylic paints that I just watered down and I used them to do my background and stuff. So you don't even really need to invest in a lot of art supplies.
No, it's pretty basic, pretty simple. And you can also play around with what you have and see what you like. You know, one of the participants decided paint wasn't so much her thing, but she loved markers. Great, use them. You know, whatever works for you. All go through different ways of doing things. So,
Yeah,
and
Jennifer, there is an artist inside of you, and
absolutely,
yeah,
it's
and
just have you been given permission for that artist to come out? We all have that artist, and most likely they got shut down early in our school years. You know, but we all have it. I'm going to tell one more quick story. I know we got to go, but I went to school as a graphic design major. I could not throw a pot for the life of me. I got a D in ceramics. In graphic design, I couldn't draw anything, any illustrations that looked realistic. I changed course and I went and got my degree in business, right? I didn't have any guidance back then, but I thought I wasn't artistic or creative. That just added to my constipation issue, right? But what I discovered over time, and one time I was assigned to draw a oak tree. This is later in life. It was at a retreat, an oak tree. Oh my gosh, so tedious if you ask me. The oak tree came out looking like an octopus. And I went, okay, you know what? This is my style and I'm going to embrace it. And it's just like those portraits. It's anybody can do those portraits. I mean, the nose is an upside down J. So it really is like that simple, but when you just let it come out, you find out what your style is as well. And you can want to draw or create realistically, but why not see what you are and who you are and what your personal expression is?
yeah, yeah, because it is about bringing what's on the inside out so that you can experience it and discover it and discover it.
And discover it, all kinds of discoveries. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kerry Lee, for coming on. You know, I've been telling a few people here and there about the adventures with the Self-Discovery Wisdom School, but, you know, without you, who is the heart of it and the creator of it, telling the stories and sharing the experience, I just only have a little piece of it. So thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on and inspiring us all and sharing your talent and your heart and your wisdom with us.
And I will say the
And your
same.
creativity.
I will absolutely say the same to you, because when they went off to meet with you, everybody came back beaming and happy. And so thank you for taking care of all my peeps. You know,
Oh yeah, and what great fun, you know, what great fun. You know, I wanted to actually, when I discovered intentional creativity, I thought about doing that 1 year program, but being that I have like limited life force energy, I just never got around to it. And it's like, I don't have to do all that work. You're the manifesting generator. I'm the projector who can just come in periodically and guide people. And it's just so wonderful and awesome for me too. So
thank you.
yeah.
Good to find our place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our
And
happy,
Susan,
our happy place.
yes. Susan says, I was so nervous with the art. Kerry Lee guided me and I have blossomed.
Oh my
It's so
gosh,
true.
Susan, just beautiful. And she was beautifully blossomed before, but now she's just like glowing, vibrant color and creative expression. It's just been an incredible transformation. Incredible. Thank you.
Mhm.
And Susan, it was because you were willing and open and you embraced it. You
Yeah.
did it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate your presence and your interest in all of this creative adventure and self-discovery adventure. I think the descriptions of how you can get in touch with Kerry Lee, or the links to how you can get in touch with Kerry Lee and the free gift, they'll be in the description. So feel free to go a little deeper with her. And again, thank you so much, Kerry, for being on.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks for being here.